What promised to be a back-and-forth battle between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia really only went one way, and this is how it went for the Steelers. Najee Harris taking his eye off the ball in a big moment, ensuing drive for Philadelphia. Push him in. A second try, tush push. Jalen Hurts finds the end zone and makes Pittsburgh pay. 27-13 is your final, with the Steelers suffering just their fourth loss of the season. And for all those issues in Philly, looks like a complete package for the Birds. Back in studio, Joe Musso alongside the two-time champ in black and yellow, Bryant McFadden. I know you were jacked up for this one. This was a big moment for Pittsburgh to sort of silence some of those remaining doubters. And I'm not sure they do that, obviously, with the loss here, but they didn't play the clean brand of football we've come to expect. What'd you see on that side?
Sloppiness in terms of penalties. You talked about 60 yards of penalties going the wrong direction. That's not good, especially playing against one of the best teams in the NFC on the road. Secondly, when you look at the opportunities for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Joe, that they did not cash in on, right? TJ Watt, outstanding fumble on Jalen Hurts. Prime scoring position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What? You get 3 points. A special teams error by the Philadelphia Eagles, fumble. Cooper DeJean set up another prime scoring opportunity because of penalties get you out. You were inside the 5, you move outside the 5, you had to settle for a field goal. Those are missed opportunities. That was a great way to jump start against the Philadelphia Eagles, a momentum booster. When you look at Philly, the one issue for them the entire season has been slow starts. That has been the theme for them the entire season. They were giving you the chance to keep that theme in play, but you did not cash in on it, and then eventually they got things going. And this game was solely for me, when you look at this game, and one thing Mike Thomas used to tell us all the time, in these type of matchups, this is a 5-star matchup. So I need my 5-star players to outplay their 5-star players. Well, in today's game, Jalen Hurts, their 5-star quarterback, outplayed Russell Wilson. The 2 wide receivers, A.J. Brown, who, oh, by the way, had a light day, 8 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown.
I'd say they're fine.
Smitty had 11 receptions for 109 yards. They outplayed the pass catchers by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's do this. Can we make this an unwritten rule for the Philadelphia Eagles? At least once a year during the season, A.J. Brown should be extremely mad at his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and make it known, and just wake up the room a little bit, shake up the room, because we saw what happened last week. We saw what happened this week. They're best of friends again.
32 passing attempts for Jalen Hurts in this one. 11 of them went the direction of his star receiver in Arthur Juan Brown. 8 receptions for, you said, $110 there. 290 in total for Hurts. So Philadelphia answers some outstanding questions in this game. Are those 2 okay? Can Jalen Hurts read this defense? I mean, this is always going to be something exotic offered by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want you to look at this one through the lens of Philadelphia now, because this is a team that has sort of staved off doubt at times earlier this season when they started the way they started. Oh, does the coach need to go? Now, can the quarterback and the wide receiver get on the same page? Or can he read the defense? Does he still have it with his legs? He did all that in this game. How should Philly be feeling right now?
They should feel, before today's matchup, Joe, they should feel really, really good. I don't know why people question Jalen Hurts. Like, he hasn't displayed the ability to be him on a football field. Man, the man can ball. He's a bona fide franchise quarterback. And I know when you look at their stretches of ball games offensively, it's been about the running game, which is okay, because if you need him to put forth a great effort throwing the football, he showed today against a high-level defense in the Steelers that he can still ball. I don't know why people question, can they trust Jalen Hurts? Joe, why?
I think there's just an air of pessimism in the city that their love almost comes from. If they are being critical of you, that means they care about you.
They love you. I don't want like a coach, if I cuss you out a few times, that means I believe you can play.
We got some Philly in the building, and I do get that feeling, but
he can ball.
It's got to be a feeling of optimism coming off a win like this against a defense like this. No George Pickens. Notable in this one, notable a week ago, and notable when you look at the road ahead for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. They have some high-level football, not just here, but moving forward, Baltimore and Kansas City in a very close proximity. We're not sure when Pickens is going to be back. What does that mean for this offense? What did you see today in his absence? How does it limit the play calling?
Well, everyone else has to up their ante in terms of play on the offensive side. We saw Calvin Austin make a few plays. Pat Freiermuth made a few plays as well. But it wasn't enough. And when you're shorthanded, missing your best offensive player, you cannot make the defense you're playing against job easier in terms of penalties. You can't have penalties, pre-snap penalties, personal foul, things like that, because that puts you in the wrong direction. And outside of that, you can't have turnovers. This game was very, very close in the second half. You're in scoring position once again. A simple toss to Najee Harris, he fumbles the football. Now you squandered away a scoring opportunity. The momentum instantly shifts to the Eagles' side, and they were able to march down the football field and put points on the scoreboard. These are things you cannot have surface when you're playing against playoff caliber teams on the road. It's a learning experience because they played against a high-level offense in terms of balance with a high-level quarterback, high-level skill guys. And get this, Saquon Barkley didn't really go off. That's the thing about Philly and how good they are. Yeah. We're talking about how impressive they were in today's matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we did not mention the MVP candidate in Saquon Barkley. Think about that, Joe.
No longer on pace to break the single-season rushing record, now on pace for something north of 2,000 yards. But if we're talking MVP, we're more likely talking about one of those two quarterbacks in that race.
It seemed like every other week
it's changing by the day. Yeah. And if this is the change for Philadelphia, well, welcome change. A little bit more balanced in their attack here. Not as much Saquon, but plenty more A.J. Brown and Smitty on the outside as Philadelphia collects another, and also on the longest win streak in franchise history. Since the bye, no losses.